Who am I? I don't know. Just some guy who fell to earth. We are rolling. Well, some people call me the spaceman or the space ace. I mean, my given name is Paul. That didn't work too well in the beginning days of KISS because we were out of Paul. So I said, call me by my nickname, Ace. So that's how that happened. Well, I guess it's kind of my alter ego, the fact that I am from outer space. I was always fascinated with science fiction films and comics and books. So that's how I developed that character. And I remember the early days just trying different types of makeup. And the first time I put the stars on my face, I didn't have white face on. It's all history now. Now some other guys wearing my makeup, go figure, right? Well, I grew up in a household where everybody played an instrument. My mom and dad both played piano. My sister and my brother both took piano lessons. And, they started playing folk guitar, too. And so I had to listen to all this shit. So whether or not I wanted to be a musician, I got it by osmosis, just by being there. And then, one day I was at my friend's house, and he had got an electric guitar, and I, plugged it in and turned the amp up to 10 and hit a note, and that was it. I said, this is the shit. This is what I want to do. And it was a love affair ever since, and it has been a love affair to this day. The Jimi Hendrix experience really did it for me. That kind of changed my life. I somehow gravitated more towards the Stones than the Beatles, probably because they were the bad boys of rock at the time. I found that, endearing. I could identify with Keith Richards quicker than I could, with Paul McCartney. KISS was really part of the whole New York scene that was happening at that time, the New York Dolls and, some of the other bands. We were just lucky enough to, evolve out of that and, obviously influenced by guys like Alice Cooper and other theatrical groups. The Who was a big influence on me. And we just kind of took it to the next level. Being from New York, probably, headlining Madison Square Garden was like a big deal for me. And I mean, that was special. You grew up in New York, next thing you know, you're playing Madison Square Garden. That was big. That was real big. Towards the end, when we got really big and there was a lot of money to be made, decisions were starting to be made without consulting me. That rubbed me the wrong way. Gene completely lost it with the merchandising. I didn't want to be a part of all that kiddie stuff. I thought it cheapened the band, and to me it was about the music first and the show second. When the show became more important than the music, I started losing interest and wanted to pursue solo efforts. I was done. I needed to get away from that. Whenever I put on that makeup for too long a time, I just feel like I'm a prisoner inside that character. And I'm kind of a free spirit. I'm a freewheeling dude. So basically, I was done. So they wanted to keep going. So I said, go ahead, do what you got to do, Somebody said to me, what happens if you were never in KISS? What would you be doing? I go, I'd still be a rock star because I was destined to be one. If I never picked up a guitar, you know what I could have been, and I know it in my heart. I could have been a famous racing car driver. I could have been a famous artist. Music has always taken precedence over my graphic design. I probably could have been a successful comedic actor. I used to hang out with John Belushi, and I was one of the few people that could make him laugh when he was depressed or bummed out about something. Unfortunately, he fell by the wayside, and he's, greatly missed. Just a comedic genius. I could have ended up like that too. I was one of the lucky ones. Between all the car accidents and close overdoses, it almost killed me. So, when you talk about things, it sets you free. That's what recovery is all about. There's so many millions of people with the same problem. Some of them don't want to talk about it, but if they do, they'll probably feel better. Hey, I'm a fuck up. A fuck up with a message. You can still play rock and roll without all that nonsense. 2006, I realized, if I didn't clean up my act, I'd never put the record out. It was just a lost cause. So, I think it was important to me that I got back on my feet and focused and back in the studio. So it was that, and it was also my health. I wasn't too healthy. I wanted to live. I chose life. It took a while to get back into the mindset of being back in the studio. Plus, I produced it myself. It's done. It's mixed. It's out. I can't believe it. I love the packaging. Have you seen this stuff? So this is inside the CD. You got a pyramid here. So, I designed all the graphics. I think it's probably it parallels my first solo record. More than maybe anything I've done in the past. I read what the fans write, and they all say that was their favorite Ace Frehley record. So I kind of dissected it a little and tried to put some elements from that first record into this new one. And I think I've achieved that to a lesser or greater degree, depending upon who listens to it and reviews it. I always try to please the fans and do things that they're gonna dig and enjoy because they pay my rent. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just rambling.